Hey guys, Level Cap here, and the Battlefield 6 beta is kicking off today. I've got a breakdown of everything that you're going to want to know to get the most out of this somewhat limited time with the game. We're going to cover classes, modes, maps, weapons, and more. Think of it as a cheat sheet to getting into the game, especially if you're a veteran player and you want to know what's changed. I'll be going over that. Plus, stay tuned to the end as I've got some pretty interesting leaks covering the future of Battlefield 6 content, so let's get into it. So before we get into some of the nuts and bolts, especially the class differences this time around, I wanted to cover a few new mechanics and hidden gameplay systems that DICE haven't really talked about much. The first is the ability to drag downed players while reviving. This is a pretty cool feature that hasn't been in past Battlefield games, despite DICE sort of teasing it since way back in BF3. Once you initiate a non-defibrillator revive on a teammate, you can drag them into cover during the revive process. After a brief timer, you'll inject them and you'll be back up and running. A cool detail about this is that they'll actually leave behind a blood trail, letting players know whether or not somebody's been dragged around a corner. Another subtle gameplay feature is that there is now a directional indicator showing you where you're taking fire from, even if you're not getting hit by that fire. This is a small gray blob that appears near the red directional hit indicator for when you're taking damage. It's such a subtle thing that I actually didn't even notice it until I was editing back my footage from playing the game. But now that I'm aware of it, I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on it to help quickly locate enemies, especially ones who are not shooting too accurately. A cool change this time around is Battlefield 6 on consoles will support keyboard and mouse input, so if you're a PC gamer who plans on playing on a console or you just prefer KBM as your input, you can try it out. The beta will feature a platform-preferred crossplay system that prioritizes matchmaking you against players on your platform before expanding to all platforms. Alright, let's move on to classes. Gone are Battlefield 2042's more divisive specialists, which had more specific looks and personalities to them, which didn't really jive with the vibe, but otherwise a lot of the way that classes were built in that game have persisted. Battlefield 6 has an open weapon class-based system. In other words, any class can use any gun. However, each class gets signature weapons, traits, and gadgets that incentivize using a preferred weapon class for your class. And I'll detail those perks in just a second. Now, there will allegedly be a playlist with locked weapon classes for the beta, and it'll be interesting to see if DICE changes their minds about locked weapons based on the feedback. But given how all the other matchmaking options are for open weapon classes, it feels like they're more or less locked into this path, and they're just trying to make us feel like maybe they could change it, but I seriously doubt it. Alright, so every class has seen a bit of a change, starting off with Assault. This is still kind of the meat grinder infantry role designed to be in the front lines of any battle. Players that like to equip an assault rifle and hold the W button to run towards combat will feel at home here. Their signature weapon is, of course, the assault rifle, and equipping one will give you faster transition times from sprint to firing and switching to and from assault rifles. And that last bit is important because assault players can equip two primary weapons that they can switch between quickly, though the second slot is going to be limited to shotguns, carbines, and DMRs, all of which are very effective weapons regardless, but it just means you can't run two assault rifles, or an assault rifle and, say, a bolt-action sniper rifle. Assault also gets a signature trait that reduces damage and movement speed penalties from falling. Their signature gadget is an adrenaline injector, which gives you a temporary resistance to flash and stun effects, boosts sprint speed, reduces explosive damage, and makes enemy footsteps louder. Assault also gets an active ability that unlocks when you fully level up your training options that reveals nearby audible players, and getting kills will prolong this effect. Every class has two branches of training options that you can pick from that are basically class-based skills that you can earn every match via XP. For the Assault, their two upgrade paths are Grenadier and Frontliner, though I think only Frontliner will be available in the beta. We'll have to wait and see. Grenadier gives you quicker grenade launcher reloads, extra grenades, and it increases your flash resistance. Frontliner will boost health regeneration, give an extra adrenaline injector charge, and it reduces your inaccuracy while moving. One thing to note with the Assault class is that DICE are making some big changes after the beta. They're replacing the signature trait with Commanding Presence, which speeds up objective captures and takes you out of combat faster to speed up how quickly your squad can respawn on you after a fight. They're also moving the respawn beacon, now called the deploy beacon, from Recon class to the Assault class. Again, I believe these two changes are coming after the beta. Next is the Engineer. This is the anti-vehicle role, but they're also intended to support your team's vehicles. Their signature weapons are PDWs or SMGs, which get improved hipfire control. Their signature trait reduces explosive damage against them, and their signature gadget is the iconic repair tool, this time with a nice gauge showing you how close to empty it is. Their active ability makes the repair tool work faster, and their training options are either anti-armor or combat engineer. Anti-armor makes your rockets reduce the auto repair ability of enemy vehicles, plus it gives you more ammo and faster reloads with rocket launchers. Combat engineer gives vehicles that you're a passenger in auto health regen, a longer lasting repair tool, and it automatically spots nearby mines. The support class is another one that's seeing a pretty big change from its traditional role on the battlefield. While it's still the LMG-focused ammo guy, DICE have also reworked the supply crate to both heal and rearm players. Their signature weapon is the LMG, which gets a buff to remove the sprint speed penalty while you're using it. Their signature trait lets them drag and revive down teammates much faster. They're also the only class that can revive anyone on your team, while other classes can only drag and revive their own squad mates. They have access to defibrillators for extremely fast revives. Their active ability temporarily boosts their resupply and revive speeds. Their training options are either combat medic or fire support. Combat medic can dispense health when other players press the interact key while looking at them, and they restore health when reviving down players. Fire support gives enhanced weapon control when the weapon is mounted and dispenses ammo. Basically, you can push your class to specialize more towards medic or ammo traits. Finally, there's the Recon class, which is often thought of as the long-range sniper, but it does have some good options for close-range combat. While using sniper rifles, Recon gets faster rechambering between shots, which is a pretty good bonus. It decreases scope sway and gives you a longer breath hold duration. Their signature trait automatically spots enemies while you're aiming at them through the optic. They also get a motion sensor as their signature gadget, and they get a UAV that marks enemies as their active ability. Their training options are Sniper or Pathfinder. Sniper gets improved auto spot speed, range, and duration. Sniper shots will highlight enemies and temporarily prevent healing, while headshot kills on enemy players will make them unrevivable. Pathfinder makes Recon undetectable by equipment unless they're sprinting. It highlights damaged enemies for the entire team, and it can perform quieter takedowns. Like the Assault class, Recon is getting some changes after the beta that replaces the Pathfinder training path with Spec Ops that is more focused on stealth and avoiding detection. Now when it comes to weapons, I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more during the beta as we'll have a lot more playtime to really go through them, but for a quick recommendation list, assault rifles are naturally quite good. I really enjoyed the G36. It's very easy to use. It might not be the best weapon out there, but if you're getting into the game and you want something that is solid, that's a good go-to. For carbines, I enjoyed both the M4 and the 417. Both were very effective. The PDW/SMGs were actually surprisingly good. They have very low recoil, allowing them to punch much further than you might expect, and I found myself using them a lot more than I had in previous Battlefield games. The LMGs are fun. They are slow to draw and aim down sight, so just keep that in mind, but they are effective with massive magazines that you can upgrade in the weapon customization menu. A properly equipped Ultimax 100 is also a bit of a laser beam, so if you just want a machine gun that's easy to use and effective at medium to longer ranges, that is a great option. Now on the vehicle side, things feel pretty familiar. Tanks go down fast if you're not careful, so you can't overextend them, but their weapons are highly effective, and if you've got a good crew, you can keep them up and running for a long time. The attack helicopter is good, but it's not super agile, so it does feel a bit vulnerable at the moment. I'll probably be playing around with some of the sensitivity options during the beta to see if I can dial it in a bit better. Now the beta will feature several modes that are going to be split across the different beta weekends. Weekend 1, which is basically this beta, will offer Conquest, closed weapons on Breakthrough and Standard Breakthrough. It'll also offer some more close quarter modes with Domination and King of the Hill. Weekend 2 will offer an additional 2 modes, Rush and Squad Deathmatch. For Weekend 1, the maps will include Siege of Cairo, which is a personal highlight of mine. I recommend playing that one as much as possible. Liberation Peak and Iberian Offensive. Weekend 2 will add the Empire State map, which is infantry only. Now, Escalation is a brand new addition coming with Battlefield 6, but sadly it's not going to be playable in the beta. It was explained to me as kind of like Conquest, but as the match progresses, the available capture points shrink, forcing both teams into tighter combat areas. Some of the developers I spoke with at the reveal event said it was their favorite mode to play, so I'm kind of disappointed that we won't get a chance to play it during the beta. Who knows what DICE has planned for the future though, maybe we'll get a sneak peek at it before launch. Now, something else I'm really looking forward to trying out is Battlefield 6's version of Portal. It won't be available during the beta, but it looks incredibly powerful. It's using the Godot game engine to let players create custom maps with advanced scripting, AI, and more. It just seems so much more powerful than the last one. It seems like Halo Forge mode, but potentially maybe even more powerful. Now, I'm sure a lot of you, like me, got really excited when we saw the Operation Firestorm remake in the gameplay reveal. This is an iconic map that was first revealed in Battlefield 3, and it served as a great showcase of the mixed infantry and vehicle combat that Battlefield is all about. But it doesn't look like it's going to be the only classic map getting a remake. Some DICE devs have revealed that the studio is listening to players about remaking classic maps and that they might make some more if there's enough demand. This sounds like a big PR stunt, and it's likely that they already have many of these maps in the works already. They discovered a list of maps in development for the game that includes 4 remakes: Operation Firestorm, Propaganda, Talam Market, and Downtown. There's been multiple leaks and data mines hinting at these specific maps being part of Battlefield 6 production, so with Firestorm confirmed, it seems like just a matter of time. Given the more close quarter nature of the current map lineup, I certainly wouldn't mind seeing them remaster Caspian Border or even the iconic Wake Island. Now, speaking of Firestorm, there's plenty of teases indicating that the Battle Royale mode from Battlefield 5 is coming back. Aside from the hint in the livestream reveal, there's already been some leaked videos of the mode that show a destroyed suburb of California and a soldier walking through a house with a massive hole blown out of it. As for the mechanics of the mode, there isn't too much info that's leaked, but we do know that the mode will likely be free to play. The Firestorm, which is the closing circle, allegedly will do a ton of damage when you're close to it, so rather than having that gameplay mechanic where you can be in the Firestorm and then come out of it, it seems like that might actually be less available this time and that you just have to avoid it in general. Dead players will be respawnable at deploy points. Dead players will also get an Overwatch ability that lets them spectate the match via remote cameras and drones, and even control remote turrets. Overall, I'm really hoping that DICE can finally deliver a popular and successful Battle Royale experience. Battlefield 5's Firestorm felt like the inspiration for many other Battle Royale experiences, but it just died before it could really gain any traction thanks to being behind a paywall. I think Battlefield once again has one of the best opportunities to evolve the Royale experience with dynamic destruction for buildings, which they did with Firestorm, which was such a cool feature, allowing you to just blow up a building that you suspected somebody was camping in. It really evolved the game mode and made it feel much more realistic and dynamic. Hopefully Firestorm 2.0 learns from its past mistakes. In the meantime, I'm going to jump into the Battlefield 6 beta and just play the heck out of it. So excited for this. I hope you guys enjoyed this coverage. And if you want to see some of the stuff I've been doing while I wait for Battlefield 6 to come out, check out my latest devlog for C-Beams, which is a game that I'm building in Unreal Engine 5 and having an absolute blast with. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.